PlayStation was just like, nah,
Oh
we
shit!
don't want to
You know
do it.
what? I didn't even have the sound on, guys.
Oh, really?
I was talking the whole time. They've been talking the whole
Oh,
time
They've
while
been
I've been
wow.
talking the
hitting that
whole
shit.
time and didn't have the sound on. I was over here. That's what I get for not being just doing random getting it going. Sorry, guys.
So
Sorry.
sometimes I get the feeling that you're just new at this. You're just new at
Well, just doing
podcasting.
random shit. If I'm prepared for it, I'm already together. I got it together. But
I
just saying,
blame I blame
hey,
I blame Xbot for it
yeah, I
because
do too.
he showed you and he didn't show you the right way.
He showed me, and that's how it is. Okay,
He
sorry
steered you
guys.
wrong, man.
Yes. Okay, so welcome, welcome. And we were sitting here talking for the last, I don't know, about 6 minutes, about 5 minutes.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 minutes.
So
Well,
about 4 or 5 minutes.
yeah,
But anyway, okay, so I'll just
yeah.
start it over again. I was wondering.
Hi.
I was like, there ain't shit nobody else in the chat. Okay, so hey, well, what's up, Spider? He said PlayStation 5 is killing it with 6 million consoles sold already, the best launch lineup, and Returnal and Ratchet and Clank coming soon. And he's got the little emoji with the shades on. All right, let me start this over again. Now, hearing about this, and now we're going up. What's going on with you? Oh yeah, that's Pred. Never mind. Um, what you guys would already start what we were talking about with the Ben Studio situation and how it sold 6.5 million. Yeah, that looks like a crazy success. That's a lot of change. How is it that Sony doesn't look at that as a profit enough to make the sequel and then try to move in to just say, hey, look, we're just gonna make you guys do a remaster of The Last of Us, a game that people have already seen.
Well,
This will be the third time.
I think a lot of it had to do with just that first impression, of a AAA game from Ben's studio. Because I mean, they did a lot of Vita games and things like that. So it was like that bad taste in reviewers' mouths, and just them coming out with the game and not giving the patch to. They gave the patch to the consumer, but they never gave the patch to the reviewers when they were reviewing it. So it was like when once the game launched, a lot of us didn't have those issues that the reviewers had, and then our at least I didn't have those issues. I mean, there were still issues, even after the day one patch, but I mean, like the game's awesome. Like if you haven't played it, it's free on PlayStation Plus right now. So so get it. Like it's an awesome game. Um, especially if you have like a PS5 or yeah, especially if you have a PS5. If you have a PS5, get it because it's at 60 frames per second. It looks great. Um, it just sucks to see that a game like this went from being kind of you know like an awesome zombie game to being no more, and I always hate seeing that. Like I would love to see like I would have loved to have seen the sequel in this franchise, or see them go like in a different direction with it. Maybe like have branching stories, kind of like how Cloverfield did, with Cloverfield and then Cloverfield Lane, and
Hmm.
then they did the shitty Cloverfield Paradox or some crap like that. But hopefully they wouldn't have gone in that direction. But they had different like anthologies to the game, but and it just sucks to see that they didn't that they weren't going to able to make, because it had potential. There was potential in the game. It wasn't the best, of course, like out the gate with the game, but I think they definitely had something there that other studios didn't have with their zombie games.
Yeah.
Track record I see with Sony is that they're willing to abandon a successful IP, even if it's been around for a long time. Like they've
Hmm.
abandoned SOCOM, they've abandoned Killzone, they've
Mm,
Yeah.
abandoned so many games from the PS2 era, and it's just crazy that they just won't just continue these franchises anymore. They're so willing to throw away their franchises like they're nothing.
Say
Yeah,
this
it's
though,
it's
with this game, I didn't play it, so I don't know how it. I mean, I've heard, just from what I've seen on Twitter, it's like some people like it, some people didn't. Um, but even on the Xbox side, we've had games that were like, they were kind of right down the middle. We had people on both sides, and we never saw a sequel. We never got a sequel for Rise. We never got Sunset Overdrive. We never got a sequel. I'll never get a sequel for Quantum Break. I mean, like stuff like that's happened on this side of the fence too. I would think that a game like this, a brand new franchise they came out with, Sony, who's known for single player games, they would have put a little bit more effort into trying to make it for it. I didn't think the game looked that bad, but you got to start somewhere. Every game you come out with in the beginning isn't going to be a success. Like, I mean, not like the way you expect it to be. Like that, you can't sit up here and say, "I want this game to make X amount of money as a brand new franchise." It doesn't work that way, and
Right.
it might take a sequel, might take that second version to get people on. Because I can think of plenty of games I didn't play the first one, or like maybe, I mean, think about it, like The Witcher. That looked nothing like I think in the same studio, but it wasn't The Witcher. Um, Fallout, I think, was a like a top
Top down.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it merged into what it is now. So like it happens, like but you got to give them a chance to kind of at least pitch. Like, I mean, I don't even know if they even had an opportunity to say, "Hey, look, we're gonna work on Days Gone 2."
They did. They did pitch it to him. Yeah.
And they were like, "Nah, fam,
Pretty much.
you're
They're
gonna
saying
work
that
on a
you're low,
game that came
Pred.
out last year." I know. I
You
don't
gotta
know what it
you
is
gotta
exactly.
get off of your OnlyFans.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I'm saying you gotta get off of that
I
mode. You
mean,
know what I'm saying?
let me adjust the game here.
We're talking about games,
I
brother.
don't want y'all to hear everything in the background, like the washing machine and shit up there. So I have to turn the gain. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. That's
Okay.
definitely better.
So I mean, you said they pitched it to him. I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, we're not in the boardroom with them, but I mean, I think it's just really fucked up that they're working on a sequel to a game that just came out last year. Like already, not a sequel. I'm sorry,
A remake
a remake of a game
of the
that just
first
came
one.
out last year. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like it just came out.
Mhm.
Like, how many times are they gonna sell this game? And people, how many trophies do you need on this game? So
They're
like,
trying to turn it into the next Skyrim.
but I mean, like,
Well,
and that's the thing I like about the kind of like on the Xbox side of things. Like, they patch things and it's just automatic. You don't have to pay for it. They just put it out there for you. And like, other than the Master Chief Collection, which I think a lot of people were willing to pay money for again.
Nope, sorry
But
about
I
the
mean,
static.
I
That's
think
my
with it
headset.
being, if this was like 3 years later, like 3 years further up the road in 2025 or something like that, and they did this, that would be different. But like, it just came out recently. Like, why are you doing this again? I have to scratch my head at that. Why use that studio's resources for that when they could easily make you a sequel to a game that was successful?
Yeah, no, that's the thing to me that bothers me. Is and I believe it was Still Rain that made the comment on GRG last night saying that it's because of this TV show that's coming out. Got you. But wouldn't it make more sense to do a side like they did with Uncharted, where you just make like some DLC, do what Xbox did with Hive Busters, do a game that's what 3 to 5 hours long, have Ben Studios do that, and then have Ben Studios get back to working on the project that I think that was successful. 'Cause 6.5 million sold. Like I mean, I have no like. This is the thing. I also read another article that was saying that PlayStation is now put themselves in a bad predicament because now only thing that they want to do is have games that are nines and tens and highly rated, um, and it might cut off their creativity. But and that's what Sony has been known for is they've had like they've taken chances and made games that like nobody would think that would be really dope. But then like for instance, Callie, you love Dreams. That game was something that like Xbox was doing way back then. It didn't pan out, but Dreams itself should be something that if Sony goes this route, in my opinion, that those type of games won't get the opportunity, the light of day. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I'm gonna bring up a little bit of a point. Just hear me out here,
Hmm.
okay?
Hmm.
Um, the the Xbox
Hmm.
when they were kind of like down and out and within the Xbox One era, um, they had what Halo, Gears, and Forza.
Yes.
How well did that work out for them? With their AAA blockbusters. Like people were dogging the shit out of that. And now PlayStation's doing the same thing, but on another scale, on another level than what Xbox was doing. They're gonna just be doing Horizon Zero whatever. They're gonna be doing they're going to be doing Uncharted, they're going to be doing God of War, they're going to be doing Ghost of Tsushima, and what else? You know, like for how many years?
GT.
If the yeah, GT Gran Turismo for 5 games, 5 big blockbusters. It seems like. I mean, that's what it seems like, right? That that's
Yeah.
what they're going to be doing for the next generation. That's it. And then maybe Ratchet and Clank and Spider Man here and there. Like, I mean, yeah, that's 7 games, but still, like,
I do want to bring up the point that they aren't completely stepping away from new IPs. Like they are giving like some of their other studios, like London studios, like
yeah,
like another chance of making a big IP. But the problem is they're only focusing on big IP. They're not focusing on smaller games, and
mm,
I think that's a problem overall in general with this gaming industry is that it's playing too safe with just remakes and also sequels to games that we've already had.
So true.
yeah. It's like I brought up a point on Twitter, and somebody was just like, "Calm down. They're not doing." I brought up that the film industry did that same thing. What were they doing for a long time? They were just making
No, exactly.
remakes.
And they're still doing it to this day. They're still
Exactly, they're
relying
still
on that
doing
method.
it. Is it working really? Not really. I mean,
No.
a lot of people are like saying like the remake sucks. Like I don't even know why they fucking make it, and they continue to do it because they're like, well, the new generation, they don't know, they haven't seen it, so they're gonna watch it, and then they do, and then they're like, oh yeah, it's so good. So they listen to the small minority than listening to the majority of people. And that's what seems like what's happening with PlayStation is that they're listening to a small minority of people than listening to a majority of people that are saying, we want new stuff, we want new IPs, we want new this, we want you guys to branch out and make things that are completely different from what you've made before.
I made this point a while back in a couple of podcasts and even in their chats. I've asked this question before, and I was like, with the volume of studios that Microsoft has, they can potentially put out about 7 games a year. Like, and that's not even including the little smaller AA games. I don't think Sony can keep up with that, dropping out, just doing the what we did on Microsoft side, Halo, Forza, Gears. If they do that with Horizon, God of War, and they're the 5 you listed before, because they're not doing yearly games like Microsoft was dropping. Like Forza comes out every year.
Mhm.
They don't do that on the Sony side. Like they're not dropping a new, like I guess a new version of that game every year. And I don't know if they can keep up with the volume of games that Microsoft's going to put out in the next 4 or 5 years. Like you're just going to keep doing remasters. People don't get tired of that shit at some point in time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
the thing that see. That's why it made me a little. It was concerning about this new strategy that Sony was doing with the year exclusive. Now they're upgrading it to 2 year exclusivity rights for some of the third party titles that's coming. And yeah, it a game like Final Fantasy 16, I believe. Yeah, it's gonna be looked at as though it's an exclusive because it's gonna be on PlayStation for 2 years, and I think they did that with that Project Alita.
Forspoken.
Yeah,
Forspoken.
Forspoken. Yeah, I like the Project
Yeah.
Alita better, but um,
Yeah, I did too.
but
It's way
that
better name.
but that's still again, yeah, for 2 years you have those rights to it. People can brag about it. They can post that in those little pictures. But if you notice, like when it used to be those big list of pictures of PlayStation games that was looked at as exclusive, or they're
Hmm.
exclusive, and then like their support from second and third party, you don't see those lists like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, and that game is eventually
That's
going
because
to,
everything's going to PC.
yeah, everything is going to PC, and eventually it's
Yeah.
coming over to Xbox. And the enticement of Game Pass is the reason why I think so. It's troubling that Sony and Sean Layton kind of stated that, and then they gave him the boot because I guess Sean Layton wasn't agreeing with what Sony was doing. I don't think Jim Ryan personally should get all the heat. I think he's just the right man for the job that Sony is wanting PlayStation to where PlayStation to go, because it's the people, it's the CEOs and the people that's ahead of Sony that wants PlayStation to be something different. Then it's not all on Jim Ryan. I think he's just the right fit for them for where they want to go. I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I say that definitely Sony gets involved more than Jim Ryan wants because time and time again, he's stated stuff, and then Sony makes something completely opposite of what he stated. And I just think that this is what Sony is trying to do, and they want PlayStation to be successful, so they're trying to do anything they can to try to do it that way, even if it's gonna bring them negative PR.
Right. I mean, look, and I'm reading what Ice Queen is saying. It shouldn't matter, and you're one of the first people that I've heard that's really out there. That's because I was reading your comments saying that you were saving your money trying to get a PlayStation 5. That's the thing, though. There were so many narratives that exclusives only matter. Your console only matters if that game is only exclusive to that console. Now,
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And so now that's a narrative that people, and you're one of the first people I've seen that's saying, like, you know what, I don't care. Xbox gamers had to adjust to it, but it was always the PlayStation community and the media that was dogging out Xbox for not showing true true loyalty to the Xbox fan base, which I looked at it as an opportunity for Xbox to gain more money so then they can get the sequels that we desire and that we need. And so Sony's doing this. I can see. So that's the thing to me that's really crazy is that Death Stranding's going to go to PC. That game is going to sell well, and they just put the kibosh on it. Like I don't get it. Like I just don't understand the thought process. 6.5 million. That is good. That's good. That's great numbers. I mean, did it have to sell 10 million for the game to get the green light to move on? I don't know.
Probably.
That's
for their goals.
They got some crazy. Well, I mean, there's other. I'm trying to think of another studio that has those type of goals. They had them.
I think Capcom used to do that.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. I think it was another Japanese studio that had those type of goals. That like, look, well, if this game didn't hit this, then we're not even thinking or considering to make another title. And then Street Fighter V came out, and then they just had to eat crow. So they had to eat crow on that.
It's true.
Okay, so the games. All right, so Callie. I know you said you had a lot to say about everything else was going on with PlayStation. What else is it that's on your mind that you want to let us know about what's going on with PlayStation, man? The state of it right now.
Now, I say real quick, I didn't believe the rumors that were going around back when there was those rumors going around about the power struggle between Sean Layden. But I think obviously now there's something going on there since Sean Layden has been liking tweets talking good about him and talking about Jim Ryan and his leadership. So there's definitely bad blood there, and it's kind of just sucks to see because, I mean, I never agreed with Sean Layden with how he handled PlayStation because he was against crossplay and everything. So I didn't agree with him, but I just think that would management have been better for the studios if he stayed around.
Yeah, no, I think so. Personally, yeah.
Yeah. And we probably would never have lost the studio that was just unannounced. And all that talent is gone too. So It just sucks to see that all those people lost their jobs there.
Right. And so I'm reading something from I'll Drain Your Soul. He's like, they have it scrapped. Days Gone too. Ben Studios is working on a new IP. Days Gone may get a sequel later on. Well, it's not going to be the people who actually made the game. It's going to be... Yeah.
The two lead writers actually left Ben Studio.
Yeah,
because they pitched their sequel to Days Gone back in 2019, and Sony said no, we're not going forward with it. And then they were like, okay, well then we're leaving. So that it's not going to be the same game.
Right. Yeah, and you know, I mean that's telling signs. That was just. If you got it, okay, it's the same way with BioWare. If you're right here saying that, well, BioWare is done from this, and now you're saying, well, no, they'll still make a. I mean, look at Anthem. Anthem is done. I have to admit, I think the Anthem will come back eventually, but right now, if Anthem comes back, it's going to be a sequel. If you know what I'm saying, Anthem is done for needle curtains right now.
Or it'll be a remake.
It'll be a remake, or but yeah. So that's probably the perfect way to put it. It's going to be a remake, not even a sequel. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to
And it might not even be called the Anthem.
No. Don't do that. No, it'll be called. I think that. That's gonna be disrespectful. Come on, don't do that. Don't do that to me. That breaks
I
that
think
hurts my
that- I
heart.
think
They might
sounds
just
good.
call it
That's a good idea.
Anthem, and have like quotations, Anthem, Resurrection, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
Something
used
like
to be Anthem, but this is the new thing right here. But yeah, but no, the most and I think the people that started working on the Anthem, they left BioWare. So it's like, uh, yeah, the writing is on the wall. So the writing is on the wall for this as well. And then there was also in that article they were talking about how pissed off the people, the workers at Ben Studios was getting because Sony brought over Naughty Dog developers over there, and they started to call their games what was the name of the game? Um, Days Gone. It was Days Gone. It was Days Gone. Last of Us. It was crazy. So which is showing that there's a lot of animosity at the workplace because of the fact that those people's vision just didn't have. They didn't have the vision. I mean, they took away their vision to work on something for profit, and that was something that people were dogging out Xbox for, especially with 343 and Coalition. Why don't you give them creative freedom? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And then Xbox said, you know what? Hold on, pump the brakes. This is what we're going to do. We're going to buy a whole bunch of shit over here, and we ain't going to have this conversation about talking about what 343 or Coalition is going to do. If they want to do it, that's fine. But the primary things that got us our money was Gears and Halo, so they're going to continue to work on that. So you can look at all this other stuff that we bought from ZeniMax and whatever else they're going to be buying. PlayStation doesn't have that luxury because their studios are drying up right now, and so and Sony's more seem like to be invested into getting anime than other studios. I mean, a lot of people was talking about that one studio that made Demon Souls. We haven't heard anything from that either. So I mean, Sony makes a lot of money, but like we need to hear some kind of announcement. I think from Sony in order for us to. I think for a lot of people to start feeling more positive about Sony. I know that people in the chat just saying, look, Returnal and Ratchet and Clank is going to be in there, but I got to quote something from my boy 108. He said, look, those games ain't moving the needle like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Ratchet and Clank was never a huge seller, so.
Well, it's also that, but also like the Returnal was in play before this whole, them focusing on just AAA, big budget games, blockbuster games.
I think that game was in development mid-gen of the PS4.
Exactly, it was, and then they were like, well, we'll shift it over to the PS5, and then because it was probably going to be a PS4 game at one point, and they were like, well, no, we'll just shift it over to the PS5. And then Ratchet and Clank, Ratchet and Clank has its following, and people love those games.
Yeah, I love
and
Ratchet and Clank.
I think this one will sell pretty well. I just don't. A lot of these games just don't sell gangbusters because the majority of people who are playing on PlayStation are casual gamers. They're ones who buy the AAA third-party games every year, like Call of Duty, FIFA, 2K, things like that. That's the majority of the gamers over there on PlayStation. The minority of people are the ones who are buying, these, their exclusives and their some of the AAA, third party stuff. But it's just it's sad to see this, but at the same time, it's like, well, maybe if Xbox comes out and gives them a run for their money with their first party, maybe PlayStation will step up their game and change, because it seems like right now PlayStation's changing their mind like every second of the day. Like they're just always changing their mind. Like I remember in the beginning of this new generation, everybody was saying like Jim Ryan is Lion Ryan. They were calling him Lion Ryan. They still call him Lion Ryan, of course, but now he's like, he went from like one day being like, oh yeah, we believe in generations. Now he's all like, no, we're gonna keep continuing with PlayStation 4 and stuff like that. So it's like, Sony's just always changing their mind. So I mean, this could be something that just they might change their mind down the road, or they might just slip it on the rung and be like, yeah, that never happened. I don't know what you guys are talking about. That never
Right,
happened.
right. And
Hoping they change
Yeah.
their mind, especially if enough fans give them enough backlash over it.
Right.
this is one of the okay. So this is the second time, and within what before 6 months of a new console, where I've seen
Mhm.
PlayStation fans really act a fool. We didn't see it none last gen.
Completely.
But clearly they're starting to be more vocal. I'm proud of that because I mean they've been so vocal about Xbox. I'm like, y'all got to have that same energy. Now there's still some people out there that's holding the line. Callie, I haven't seen your boy. What was his name? Wilmy.
Oh, was it?
Willie Hood?
Yeah, not
No,
Wilmy.
Willie Gamer.
Yeah, Willie. I ain't seen your boy, Callie. Where's he been? He's been kind of quiet.
I haven't actually seen him either. Actually, on Twitter.
Never reacted.
I'm not giving him any disrespect, but I just haven't seen him on Twitter.
I haven't. That's what I'm saying. I usually see some post stuff. He has not posted too much here lately, so I don't know. And when I seen Nick, he staunch hardcore PlayStation guy. Even when he started saying, "Hey, look, Bloodborne, Microsoft needs to buy Bloodborne," I I don't know, man. It seems like the PlayStation wall is starting to crack a little bit, and I'm
Yeah,
not, and people starting to be
it's
more vocal.
bad. It's bad when you see people like Jay Barry and Jack Move saying, hey, this this shit's got to stop. That I'm glad to see that those guys are vocal now.
Mhm.
About what PlayStation's doing, because that's what we need. Like, people needed to be more vocal about this stuff, not just sit back and be like, well, yeah, they got Ratchet and Clank and Returnal coming, but we'll just we'll see what's happening. That's just basically like you're giving up on trying to make the gaming industry better. Like, it's not about like, hey, I I'm one of those people that like to see the competition, like with Microsoft and PlayStation going head to head,
Mhm.
because we know Nintendo's not going to do that.
Well,
We know
Nintendo, but see,
PC's not going to do that.
Nintendo is
So
snuck in and has been sitting pretty while Xbox and PlayStation has been
yeah,
going back and forth with one another. But PlayStation, I mean, Nintendo
They're
is
allowed to. They're allowed to do that because they're
they
doing
are
something
exactly.
different.
yeah
They're just different in general
they are.
compared to
Yeah.
their competition.
Let me ask you this, Fred, because I know you're a numbers guy. The rumors of PlayStation wanting to do their version of Game Pass. Could Sony sustain uh, that type of volume to try to counteract what Xbox is doing right now with Game Pass?
They're gonna have the same problem. Well, they have a huge library of games, right?
Hmm.
So they put those like all the old stuff in there, from the PS1 era and stuff like that. But that's basically is back and pat, right?
Right.
Mm.
I think the problem with going forward, and I think Ubisoft found this out, and I said EA found this out as well. If you're not getting new content in, it's not going to be successful. And I've said that 1,000 times. Like, that's the only way it's going to be. And that's the difference between what Microsoft was doing with Game Pass versus what EA and Ubisoft were doing with their little, like EA Play and what it's called.
Ubisoft Plus or something like that.
Yeah, they were just putting their own games in there. Like,
You see, that's why I kind of feel that was the problem right there. Is that it was just only their games,
yeah,
where Microsoft actually had diversity with other publishers.
yep. And they were putting stuff in day and date. They're putting other games from other companies. They're putting even if you want to call them AA games, putting those games in there too. But now that you see they're getting, like Outriders, they're making these deals with these other companies to put their game in their day and date. They're getting EA on there. There's rumors about Uplay or whatever it's called now coming in there too. And I think if if Sony's gonna do it, they gotta basically just follow suit of what Microsoft is doing, and they'll be successful. But they gotta figure out how to get, and that's where the new marketing war is gonna be, right? Getting games in their subscription services before anybody else does. So even if it's just for, you can still buy it. I mean, you can still go buy those games.
Right.
But if it's in that subscription service, it's going to keep you on that platform. And right now, that's what, and you hear them talking about doing it. The fact that people now are discussing making, kind of copying what Microsoft is doing, lets you know that it's successful, because you only mimic people you see you're doing good things. You don't copy someone doing some fucked up shit. You copy people that are doing good stuff. So obviously it's working for Microsoft. They see the revenue they're generating from it and the buzz they're getting for having games in their day and date. They want that, and I mean, even I think Steam is thinking about doing something as well. So like that the model works. Despite what everybody was saying in the beginning, it works. But I think Sony's issue, if they try to deviate too much from the way Microsoft did it, um, maybe a price thing would be one thing, but if they come with a lower price and they can start getting, those games in there. If they want to do day and date, I think they'll. But I don't know. I don't know if they have the money to do it the way Microsoft is doing it as a company, not as just
Yeah.
the PlayStation
That's
division. I
that's
don't know if they
exactly
have the
what I'm
money to
thinking
do
about too. I think what Sony probably would do if they decided to go that route, which it almost seems like they're almost forced to, is do what they're doing with this, year exclusivity, and have that be the games that they get and put over on their version of Game Pass, as well as bringing in older content. And there's something that GDS said that was really smart too, which is going to be a problem. Which I think that's why Sony wasn't even trying to fuck with the with the older games in a full, like going back to the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, or even PlayStation 3, was because of the let me read it. He said Sony will need more studios just like Xbox, but recently they've been closing studios. Sony's moving into subscriptions. Oh, hold on. There we go. Back and Pat will be a good start, but licensing will be a big hurdle. Just like with Xbox, that's the thing right there. The licensing, and also their studios from way back. I mean, wasn't Sunsoft bought out by Square Enix or by Square at the time? Like when you had games like
I think so.
Tabal, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, so they're gone. When you look at other uh, studios like the who made Toshinden. I can't think of who made that, but they're gone. They're no longer around. There's so many studios back then that aren't around now. So again, they have to go through that, and then the license paying for
I don't even think they
license
could
and
do
stuff like
back
that.
and pat just because of the architecture they use.
Well, then that's another factor too between
That's just the PS3 though. They could definitely do it with the PS1 and the PS2.
well, yeah, because they could emulate that.
Yeah.
They could do the
Yeah.
emulator stuff on that. But yeah, PS3 would be a hurdle. And on top of that, the way that it would be a welcoming thing for the older for the fans who still played on the PlayStation 3 and for the Vita and for PSP to have those games be into like some kind of ecosystem of the PlayStation Now or their version of Game Pass, and say, look, okay, you can still be able to buy these games, or you can get with this service and you can do it that way. And of course, listen, I understand that plenty of people keep saying that, oh man, nobody cares about those old games. Bullshit. We talked about this.
Yeah.
There were still at the time in 2019 there was 104 million people that was still playing on their PlayStation 3. I can imagine there are still people playing on the 360 because I sit here and look at it every time. As a matter of fact, I'm finna try to get all my characters back in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 before Fight Night tomorrow. So tomorrow night. So and there's people still playing on it. So I don't know. Retro gaming is still huge. PlayStation has all they would. I thought when we heard from Hip Hop Gamer that they were going to utilize all those games and stuff from PlayStation 1. I'm like, yo, their backup pat's going to be lit. I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 as soon as I get, probably within the few months. I wasn't going to wait.
Right.
But since now, they've been slow playing on not only the memory aspect of it, but just on backwards compat and then giving this confusion to their own gamers about what they're going to do and then not even,
I think the back compat solution might
yeah,
still be a thing because they did have a recent patent for that.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
What's the crazy thing is that they were always, for a while there, they were always thinking about the preserving the older games, with their consoles. Like, I mean, look at PS1 to PS2 to PS2. You could play pretty much every single PlayStation 1 game, and
See,
then
I know they were like that, like up until the PS3, where they had to
right.
remove that component.
And
that
I
they
think
kept using.
But
I feel
I think PlayStation 3 really hindered them when they put that cell architecture in there, and they were like, "Oh shit, maybe
well, it
we
wasn't just
fucked up."
that the system they were using to uh, emulate the games to be able to do back compatible on the PS3. It was a system on the chip, and even that was really costly. I think Sony right now is just like in a cost saving, just like
Yeah,
mood right now. So they're just trying to find any cheap way of doing things.
Yeah.
makes
Uh,
sense.
yeah. It's another thing too is the Final Fantasy VII remake stuff. I'm getting tired of keep trying to tell people, look, it's there's people still trying to hold on that PlayStation is going to hold on to Final Fantasy VII remake as an
No,
exclusive. It's not
the
going to
contract's up
happen.
already.
Well, they said April. Oh yeah, they said April 3rd. Yeah, the contract is up. So
Yeah.
Xbox is going to announce something. They talk about they're going to announce something here pretty soon. Listen, how big would it be if Final Fantasy VII remake comes on Game Pass?
Oh, it's gonna be huge, dude.
Oh man.
That would be huge, especially if you were adamant about just having an Xbox. Oh, it's gonna be huge. You're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah. Even if you weren't planning on playing the game, you're gonna play it on if you have Game Pass. Because I've always been an advocate of like being like, okay, well, if I don't like a game, that's one thing, but if it's already on the service, just play it. Like you may not have any interest in it, but like you could play it and actually be like, oh well, this was actually a really good game. Me personally, I don't think Final Fantasy VII remake is a good game, but that's just me.
Disrespect. Listen, you know how I feel about Barrett, his voice, but thank you so much, Ice Queen, for being a new member. Appreciate it. Thank you for the support. I
Am I gonna play it when it gets upgraded to the PS5?
yes.
Yes, because
Yes.
I want to see what it looks
Well, that
like.
new
Just
content
to
looks
see.
hot. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, okay, I haven't really. I played it. Barrett's
But you
voice
gotta buy that
annoys
new
me.
content though.
I'm gonna support it. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
I bought because I was waiting for a sale for it for the Last of Us 2, and so I was like, I'm gonna stream that game. So I'm gonna let people see that I do play PlayStation games. Um, but I wanted to go through it and play through it a little bit, and that's why I was like, damn, it's an
See, I
hour and
think you like
10
that game
minutes
because it's got a lot
before
of.
you really get into some action. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, I mean, I get it. The game is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? The voice act, the acting is top notch. But I'm like, I get it. We're setting up. But PlayStation loves to do a showpiece. Everybody has to stand somewhere and look at the beautiful backdrop for a second. Everybody has to sit here and gaze at its majesty with the beginning. Man, let's just get down to some action. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to. I think that's why God of War was what because I was skeptical about God of War for the new change that they was doing, but it caught you right when old dude the stranger came, and then you got down to I'm like, yo, okay, all right,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying damn, because Horizon Zero Dawn started slow,
Mhm.
yeah, it started slow too, and I'm like, you know what, and I like the shit out
Is that for the first
God.
reveal or the second reveal when they had the gameplay?
Of what?
Horizon Zero Dawn, or
Oh, you talking about for me? Is this the second?
yeah,
Yeah,
for
no,
you.
yeah. I bought it on PlayStation. That was the reason why I got a PlayStation was for Horizon Zero Dawn, Neo, and Street Fighter Five. And I bought Street Fighter Five on the play on my PC. And I was happy that I did because once I seen Street Fighter Five, I was so disappointed. I probably would have traded my PlayStation in for that because I was like, there's no way. But then when Neo and Horizon Zero Dawn was shown, I'm like, oh, I gotta get a PlayStation 4 now for this because I bought my son one,
Hmm.
and I bought for him, and that's got a chance to play some games. I played, um, uh, what is that? Oh, Dawn, the game that's like Detroit. Um,
Oh, Until Dawn.
yeah, Until Dawn, and I love that, and that's why I knew I would really like Detroit, even though it was a different type of game because it was more scary. But yeah, and then I played a little bit of some other stuff that was on PlayStation, and then off of his PlayStation, and then he went to college, and then I was like, oh shit, so I was like, I'm gonna have to get my own pretty soon. So And so then that was when I got it. But yeah, the Last of Us 2, I wasn't the biggest fan of the first Last of Us because of the controls, and then of course that slow
Hmm.
start. And I know that people were so gripped after the situation in the beginning where his daughter got killed or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty deep, but this game is taking too damn long to get started. so, so,
Yeah,
so yeah, yeah.
I
I
actually
will
wanted to say
admit.
I never actually completed the game. It never hooked me that much after that part.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it never. No, the first one never hooked me. But I will say this about the second one. It even though it took a long damn time to get some because I was tired of horseback riding. I want to get to it, and then when Abby's big ass got out there and started swinging them punches and started fucking them
Yeah.
zombies up, I'm like, okay, all right, I'm feeling it. And so I'm like, all right, so yeah, I'm gonna stream it. But yeah, I went in there because the PlayStation had a sale. They have some good sales, and so I picked that up. But I'm gonna Final Fantasy. I'm gonna buy it again once it comes on Xbox. I don't. I'm all if there's games that I really want to support, I will double dip. You know what I'm saying? Like Tekken. I got Tekken on everything.
I mean,
Everything.
you proved that with that whole video of Outriders.
Yeah.
Outriders was coming to Game Pass. You have Game Pass, but you still bought the game even though it was going to Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So like, to sit there and say that, like, I mean, I'm gonna some people are like, well, you're not a real gamer if you don't buy the games, and it's just like, well, there are plenty of people who will buy the game, like if they like it enough. Because people
Mm-hmm.
look at it this way, like, oh, well, some people look at Game Pass as like, oh, those games are always going to be there. No, it's basically like a rental service, not
Mm-hmm.
in the same content, not um in the same way as traditional rental, but it's still kind of like a rental service because those games aren't always going to be there. Especially like, I know a lot of people are like, well, all the first party games will be there. I'm like, no, I think they're going to switch a lot of that stuff out
No,
eventually.
they're gonna keep the
You
first
know,
party in there, but it's just like I ask this because I hear people say that all the time, but like, how many times have you heard someone say, "I can't believe they took this out of Game Pass. I love that game."
it's, yeah,
I've never heard
And when
anyone
they
complain about that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and when they do take a game out, A, they tell you ahead of time, and
that's
B,
true.
it's probably been in there for fucking a year. You know,
Yeah, yeah, that's
like you
true.
probably played it and you're probably done playing it anyway. So like, I mean,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
not like they're like, okay, we're gonna put this in Game Pass today, and we're gonna take it out in March. I'm sorry, in June. Like it's not. It's never been that way since Game Pass existed. Um, that I've known of. Even Netflix doesn't do that. They don't leave it in there for like 2 months and take it out. It's usually in there
it's
for
true.
a
Yeah,
good amount of time.
yeah. That is true. But that's the thing also with Game Pass is that um you get a discount, so like when MLB the Show comes to Game Pass, and you like that game and you want to buy it, you can buy it through Game Pass and get a discount on it. So I mean, you're kind of, like there's really a more of an incentive to have that there, Game Pass. So I mean, I mean, there's rumors that the PlayStation is going to be doing that, so we'll see.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know if it was Callie or you, Dark, that said this, but that's the whole point. Is how is their payment structure going to be? Are they going to try to get over on the gamers like they did when PlayStation Now was first introduced? Because if you think about it, PlayStation was on to something from the get when they introduced it, but they got greedy with it. Like, I mean, in a beta, I'm looking at it like, man, Final Fantasy 7. I mean, not Final Fantasy 7. What was that? The Final Fantasy with lightning in it. Final Fantasy 13.
13?
Yeah, 13.
No.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I want to try this out. And then I'm looking at it and I'm seeing the price. It's like $40. I'm like, I could go up here to GameStop and get this damn game for $12. What are you
It's
doing?
true.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
also the network wasn't working properly. I mean, games were choppy as hell. And I just said, look, man, this thing is going to fall flat on its face if they don't change the structure. And then by that time, they were way behind. Xbox was looking at this situation, and I think Xbox got their idea from EA Access, because nobody was doing it like EA Access, not from my understanding. And then I was thinking Xbox was like, yo, we can do something with this. Why don't we try our own version of this? And then there was a report that came out that was saying that Capcom was going to try doing this, Ubisoft, and so many others. So the thing of, and things take time before it actually is shown up. But I still believe that, yeah, Namco Bandai, Capcom, Ubisoft, and others are going to jump in. And if PlayStation decides to do that, to do their own Game Pass, they can. If they can do a deal with Capcom, they could do a deal with Namco Bandai. But I think they need to let their fan base know something, because I think right now the dam is breaking. I mean, yeah, Returnal and Ratchet and Clank is around the corner, but in Horizon
Yeah.
Zero Dawn delayed.
Yeah, but once they do like an big E3 thing
Well,
with
yeah.
PlayStation, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, nope, PlayStation's good." They're gonna be like,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that
That's
they're
how it
going.
always goes. That's how it
Yeah,
always
but
goes when there's controversy. They show a new game, and then no one talks about anything.
man,
Exactly.
I don't know. I think this time things are sticking. I think things are sticking right now because Jim Ryan is not getting any love, and Sony is, and yeah, things will be better once they start showing some games, and yeah, but if they go out and let's say that their reveal, we'll show God of War. We'll finally show some clips of God of War, and then we'll see some stuff from Horizon Zero Dawn or the Horizon 2, and they show Final Fantasy 16, and then they might show something else. Well,
Probably more Forspoken.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So if they show just that, and then like they do an announcement for something else, or like for the remaster, that ain't gonna cut it, man. That ain't gonna cut the mustard.
Not for you, but I guarantee you, the majority of PlayStation fans will be like, "Oh yeah,
Okay,
what?"
yeah.
Well, there's also rumors of that SOCON game. I bet you they're saying if that rumor is still true, they could show that.
Mm-hmm.
True,
Well,
yeah.
they could. Now, if they do that, then they'll definitely get people excited. Because that's something that PlayStation itself they need to get more online games. What you doing, Briggs? And so, what you doing? Hey, what's going on? Oh, you came back from doing what you were supposed to, doing some stuff that you weren't supposed to be doing with your friend. Okay, all right.
Yeah, dry humping.
Oh man. Anyway, so
Yeah, that guilty face, like.
no, she didn't have no guilty face. She was smiling. She was over here like, yeah. She said, I thought y'all heard her say, yep. Anyway, all right. So my last question to you guys is this: how's PlayStation 5 doing so far from your perspective?
PlayStation 5 as a console or as a
Overall, everything that you've seen so far within the first few months that it's been out.
overall? I mean, for me personally, I can't really complain too much other than because I've still been trying to take care of my controller as good as possible because of that issue everyone's been having where the it breaks down a bit with the Joy-Cons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just been kind of worried on that end because I ain't trying to buy a new fucking controller for $60.
Man, that's yeah. Xbox, don't pay attention to putting all those crazy rumbles and things like that on your controller because obviously the way gamers are playing games now, it is. I mean, I don't know, man. People are rough on them.
I,
people are rough.
I'll say this. I'll say this about the adaptive triggers in the PlayStation 5 controller, the DualSense. It's cool at first. You're like, oh, this is really cool. This is something that's new and unique.
But the problem is they don't use it enough.
Right. And then I just shut that shit off because I'm like, I don't need it. I don't.
Okay.
I have no reason to utilize it at all.
The only two games that really used it well was Black Ops 2 and Astrobot.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what I was using it for. And then, I think right now for me, the PlayStation 5, I love it. I do. I love having it. And I am excited for Returnal and I am excited for Ratchet and Clank, but I also want an Xbox too. So, like I've always been that kind of gamer that just likes having everything anyways. it's just I like having consoles. That's my thing. I like having consoles. I've never been a PC guy. But I think right now PlayStation's doing good for me. I mean, I'm liking what I'm using right now. The only thing that kind of sucked was that was really that kind of hindered me a little bit was MLB The Show going to Game Pass day one.
That
But then
hurts.
I was all like, I have an Xbox, so I
Yeah,
can play it there. Like
yeah,
it's not that big of a deal. That's the beauty of having all the consoles
yeah.
is you don't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah.
What about you, Fred?
Um, I'll say for both systems. I know you asked about PlayStation, but I gotta make a caveat here too. Like it's been very difficult for both companies to work around what's been going on over the last year or so. So
Mhm.
I kind of give both of them kind of like a pass. But I will say at least the games for both of them actually have kind of been kind of lackluster. It's been kind of dry. I mean, Outriders was a breath of fresh air, but like just with the launch console, you expect to see like a lot more stuff come out, and it seems like it's getting just ports of last.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, specifically on the PlayStation side, I'll say, um, you know, the paying $70 per game. It's just been a lot of bad news for them going forward. I know people are kind of like, well, it's they'll kind of work around, the extra $10 per game, but then you think about like that. Um, so, Callie was saying about his controller fucking up. That's another issue. It's just like the pancakes just keep stacking on top of each other. This whole generation. We're getting games finally. We're about to get a couple of games from them. Ratchet and Clank, MLB The Show, but it's just like the decisions they've made have kind of made the console kind of not desirable. And plus, you can't even find so
Right.
Yeah,
and
But people
that's
still
another
brag about, oh, they sold 6 million. Man,
but
they're in
that's
people's
on both ends
garages right
though.
now that's
yeah,
waiting for you
both
to
of them
That
buy it
like that
for
too.
for a thousand,
You can get an
1,500
S, but
bucks.
not everybody want an S. But like I've
right.
been able to go out and get it in S. But like, and that's why I said like for both companies, it's been a weird year. Um, but specifically on the PlayStation side, like I said, there's a lot of things that are mounting against them. That they're mistakes they're making internally.
Did they ever fix that issue with the power save mode where it could possibly brick the PS5s, or did they not fix
I
that
haven't
yet?
heard too much about that lately.
They've been very vague about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about
About
this
the
too,
what?
like the power, like the power brick, something with the brick in the console or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you've had all these multiple issues with it, and either they aren't saying anything, or it's not happening as much as we like to think it is. But like another one would be the SSD. Like, when are we getting that?
In the summer.
Yeah, but like, why did it take this fucking long? Like it should have
Right.
been a day one thing.
Yeah.
Like, um, uh,
Have they
I
even
don't
gave a
like
price? Have they even given a price yet
No.
for
no,
the?
Nope.
no.
Okay. Mhm.
There's
That's
so
just
They'll
gonna
many.
be
they'll probably announce it at E3.
Even the reveal
I
was
bet.
garbage. Oh god.
ah fuck.
Even the reveal was like, like kind of lackluster when they had the people like they had this controlled environment and they didn't want anybody touching it and breathing on it and like it's.
They did.
I mean, it was just the
Didn't
whole.
they have a guy with white gloves on too?
They did.
Yep,
Oh,
So
yep.
didn't they let
I mean,
they Larry Herbed it? Okay, yeah, all
yeah.
right, man. All
But
right.
like I'm just saying, like this whole generation with them, it's just been weird. It's like they just like it didn't feel like they were confident in their console, and then all the decisions they're making behind the closed doors, like in the business side, like dude, you could have killed it. You could have just put Microsoft in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Like in the beginning, if you just came out with like two fucking bangers, and then like just carried on, but like you came out with a system that wasn't complete, and I don't think both companies were ready for this generation.
No.
Um, but the SSD thing they were harping on the whole fucking time, I don't see the external storage was an issue. The controller is an issue. I've used it. I wasn't impressed by it myself. And Dark was saying, like it's fun for a few minutes and then it's over and done with. Like the whole blowing in controller thing. Who's gonna use that? What
Yeah.
games are using it?
I don't even
Where
use
is
it.
VR?
That was going to be my next thing. I was waiting for you to
So like,
finish what you was going to say. Yeah,
yeah,
where the hell
well,
is
and
VR?
I know they're coming out with the new headset. They showed some controllers and stuff like that. But here's my thing with them. They have not made a VR game. Sony themselves, not other companies, not third party. Sony has not made a VR game in how long?
They made was that Blood and Truth game from London Studios.
When was that?
I believe that was. I think that was 29. Yeah, that was 2019.
2 years. They've not made one. And
I
I'm
think they had.
assuming you're right,
I
but
think
like
they
for
had
2 years,
Iron Man VR last year.
Oh
Actually,
yeah,
Oh yeah, they
they
had
didn't
Iron
make
Man
that
VR.
though.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't make that though.
No, they
that's
didn't.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about Sony themselves, like
Yeah.
Oh,
their own
okay.
studios. They're not even
Yeah.
supporting their own VR systems. Like no one's saying anything about that. You know, like everybody's, oh, VR is awesome, but like, okay, what VR games have you gotten lately?
problem is they got rid
Mm.
of all their. They got rid of most of their VR dedicated
Companies.
studios.
Yeah, that's not a good sign either. Like, I mean, now if you're asking for a grade, like I give both companies a fucking C, you know. But I think Microsoft is kind of steering in the right direction right now. I'll say this: Microsoft is winning mind share right now. They're winning anything at all. They're winning mind share this generation. They might be losing their sales. That doesn't, that's not the main factor of who wins. But for if you're looking at the totality of it all, I would think the mindshare part, Microsoft has really worked hard at getting people to kind of look at them. Before, they were getting trashed in the media, they were getting trashed, and I think Sony has kind of dropped the ball on that with the decisions they made. The mindshare has kind of dropped on their side.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree with that aspect for it because I made this point saying that with Game Pass, if they hit that certain threshold of users of subscribers, it doesn't matter how many consoles Sony will sell. You know, Microsoft will win the generation just off of the power of Game Pass, and they know that. And that's to me that's why I'm saying like Sony is forced into this. They don't want to do a Game Pass, subscription type thing. They want to keep building on PSN, but trying to they got to put in a lot of money to try to do a Game Pass, and then trying to keep up with Microsoft. Microsoft, only thing they can do is just, oh, you want to play this? Okay, we can just raise up, give a little bit more money to other developers. On top of that,
Yeah.
we give them the freedom. See, that's a lot of things too. You're starting to see a lot of developers come out and defend Game Pass. That's something that wasn't happening in 2017, 2018, even in 2019. Now you're starting to
Tell
see
you what,
developers
if
come out.
Microsoft
Yeah,
gets another big studio,
they're
it's
going
a
to get one.
wrap.
They're going to get one. It's just which one is it? Is it going to be Konami? Is it going to be Sega? Is it going to be some, something? Is it WBs? They got something that we don't know, and that because when you hear stuff from people who are really deep in the know, that tells you the money that they're going to spend for the next acquisition is going to be on the same level of ZeniMax. It can't be anything small. It's not going to be blooper games. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's going
Yeah.
to be something massive. And so if they don't,
Look on Phil Spencer's shelves for clues.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Look at this.
Yeah.
That's why me and Don was saying on Devin the Gamer was like, hey man, Kojima and what they're doing. And okay, so I said that was the last thing, but I do want to ask this about the Kojima thing, and then we got to get out of here because I know there's other people going to have podcasts coming on here. So Kojima. What do you think? What do you guys think about that situation? I mean, do you really think that Kojima? Because I still think Death Stranding is going to come to Xbox. I hear people telling me no, it's not going to happen. Sony's paid for it, published it, and stuff like that. Whatever that bullshit, I think is still going. But what about this relationship between Xbox and Kojima? And has PlayStation and Kojima kind of now kind of like have a little rift, not like a complete rift, but a little rift to where now like, hey, you know what? You didn't like where the game was with Death Stranding with the funding and things like that, or well, because he asked for a lot of money, and Sony was like, yo, you didn't meet expectations, and now he's like, well, I could go to Xbox. You think that there's a possibility that those rumors are true?
I don't think
Originally,
there's.
originally he was actually going to publish a game for Google Stadia, but I think Google canceled that game, so that could potentially go to Microsoft if they
Mm,
wanted it.
What game do you think that could be?
I'm not too sure. All I've heard is that like there were rumors about like him working with Google, but when they shut down the studios, they ended that project.
Okay, okay, all right.
See, I think that I don't think there's any hard feelings between Sony and Kojima.
Okay.
I think the thing is that Kojima's independent now,
Hmm.
that he can be like, oh well, if I want to make a game for Xbox, I can make a game for Xbox. Even though he slandered the Xbox,
Right,
with the whole
right,
bro shooter thing,
right, right.
but he believe I think he's overrated, but he is a legend in the gaming industry.
Yes.
He is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about
Yeah,
that.
his
Even
albums
if
ain't
you
hitting
don't
as hard
like
as they
his
used to be,
games,
but yeah, his albums ain't hitting
yeah,
as hard. But I mean, it's just like a
right,
musician, yeah. But you still know who he
right.
is, right?
Right, exactly. And I think, if they do have a game with Kojima, it's gonna go straight to Game Pass day one for sure. I mean, that's the thing. Like I saw I'll Drain Your Soul, the chat saying something about how MLB and Outriders are the only things that have gone to Game Pass as of lately, and what else have they done? And it's like, well, I don't think they're done yet, and I hope they're not done yet, and I don't think they will be done yet. I think they're gearing up for, this summer. When there's a dry spell, it's a perfect time for Game Pass because you know why? They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
probably put Final Fantasy in there. They're
Ooh,
probably gonna put a bunch of stuff in there that people are gonna
ooh.
be like, oh shit, got
Nexus.
right, exactly,
I can actually imagine the news
exactly.
that Death Stranding could hit Game Pass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I said that on GRG last night. I'm like, man, I mean, I know, I was told, I think it was PK that was telling me no, it's not going to happen. I'm still saying it is. It don't. Money is on the table. Why
I just don't know how fly that game's gonna fly with Xbox. So
people
I'm sure some
like,
people will try it
people
out.
people will try it out on Game Pass. That's the thing.
I
That's
think
why.
they will, but they're
That's
gonna be like,
why.
oh,
Well,
this
no,
isn't very good.
well,
They'll try it out, but they won't buy it.
well, right, right. It
Right.
might not sell well, but this is the thing though. There's a lot of petty Xbox gamers out there that wants to stick it to PlayStation fans, so
It's true.
they will download that game and post shit with it. And I
It's
don't,
true. Yeah.
I don't want, and I'm not condoning it like that because but I'll download it and I'll. But then again, that's another thing too. The enhancements that Xbox will bring to it as well if it's on Game Pass. You can play that on Series X and you get all those enhancements to it. Oh yeah, they're gonna stick it to them. But
Yeah,
that's
because
why.
Xbox
Yeah,
has that great
it's
technology
a
of
beautiful
FPS
game. Yeah.
boost, FPS boost, and they have another technology in the console that boosts the um the resolution too. So it's like
Yeah, that's what
it's
I'm
like
saying.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I don't know. I just think that and since Kojima is independent, like he can, and if Phil
Mhm.
gives him that bag, it's just like, hey, money talk, bullshit walks.
But that
I
game better be
apologize.
good because otherwise Phil Spencer's gonna pull that shit.
Well, I mean, if it's got to
That's the
be
thing
something
about
like,
Phil though.
yeah,
That's the thing about Phil. If he sees some bullshit going on, he'll pull that shit.
yeah,
He's not afraid to do that. He may be a nice guy, but he ain't afraid to pull some shit. Look at Scalebound.
watch your mouth, watch your mouth, watch your mouth, man.
But that's
Platinum
not.
said,
But that
but
was.
that wasn't his
But
fault. That was,
Xbox. Yeah, that
yeah,
was his
that was
fault. That was
platinum.
Platinum.
That was
Platinum
platinum.
fucked that shit up.
And you know what was tripping you out? I think what made me more angry about that whole situation is because Platinum didn't take responsibility until after the heat went away. They put it all on Phil, and the media put it all on Phil. And Platinum, all they could have said is, "Look, it was our bad as well." No, you're gonna say it a year and a half later, where it's
Mhm.
like nobody cares at this
When it
point.
doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man. So that's why, like, when people were talking about like acquisitions and stuff like that, I know Phil's not going to come out and say it, but I think he looks at Platinum Games a little cross-eyed from after that, those situations. So,
Oh, for sure.
but yeah, no, great discussion, guys. I wanted to get y'all's perspective. I wish that we could have got Big Cloud and Supernova in here and got their thoughts about it. I'm pretty sure that Nova would have been a little bit more.
He would have been rare. Probably would have been steaming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So need to let that out. But man,
I think Nova's not feeling well right now, so shout
okay.
out to him.
Yeah. So shout
Yeah.
out to Nova. But yeah, no, what I'm saying. I was asked, was this something that I was like a new show or whatever. I'm going to do these type of things every once in a while. It's not something. It's just random where I just want to get some people and we could just chop it up and hear their thoughts about stuff Like I said, I got the time to do it, so I might as well just get to work and do it. So, but yeah, great stuff, man. Where can they find you at, Cali Rex, my PlayStation brother?
Channel, Calorex, and I have my own show, Extinction Level Gaming. I'm trying to do some new things with it right now, so that's why I've kind of been off the air. But I will be coming back soon in a big way, so stay
Oh,
tuned for that.
he said a big way. Damn. Watch out. He's gonna have Yoshida on the show with him. Co-host.
If only.
All right, man. Yeah, go check out my boy Cali Rex. Otter, Dark. Where can they find you at, man?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Xbox and PlayStation, and well, you can find me on Twitter at Dark Animus. You can also find me on Xbox and PlayStation at the same name. And yeah, you guys can check me out every Thursday on the next podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Nice. Now I gotta hurry up and get you out of my
I know.
Discord.
You gotta get him out of my turf, man.
Yeah, I gotta get him out of here, man. I mean, I can only have so many PlayStation dudes in my Discord. I'm just playing with you.
You already went over your white quota already. Man.
I know, man. This is ridiculous. Yeah. and my main man, Pred, man. You know what I'm saying? Where can they find you at, brother? And I needed some backup, so you know what I'm saying. You can't trust these stands out here, man. You don't know. I'm playing. Anyway, where can they find you at, Pred?
Predator_H2OS on Twitter, and next podcast on Fridays.
Nice. All right, guys.
Meet Thursday.
Thursdays. Jesus Christ.
What did he say? Friday?
I did say Friday.
Oh, this man over here too busy showing weaponry with clips. Oh,
he was thinking of GRG. That's why it's better podcast.
See, bot. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I've been telling you couldn't trust Dark from the get. Anyway, no man, thank you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Here pretty soon. The Lions Den podcast with my boy 108 Dragon Slayer and PK Live. They will be coming up here pretty soon. Also, my boys. And for some reason I can't find that podcast. I can't find that podcast for some reason. I can go straight to it, but for some reason I can't see their new podcast, and I don't know. And I was knocked out. I didn't wake up until like 11 o'clock this morning. So well, I guess it's morning. It's before noon. So because I stayed up so late. But yes, Living Split Screen podcast with my boy.
Wait.
Huh? What is that?
No, I'm about to tell you I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, yeah, it's a Living Split Screen podcast with my boy Still Rain from the GRG family, and also Pong Soul. I believe he's on Friday nights with Funimation and Fun Speculation, and his team over there. They do their thing on Friday nights as well. But yeah, go check out those two. They come on Saturday mornings, and then you have the GWG. And I promised the ladies that I would represent. I would hold them down. You forgot about us, Mega. You forgot where we came from. I ain't forgot. You know what I'm saying? Grown women gaming. You know what I'm saying? You forgot us. You said we spawned off of you. I'm like, oh my God, no. I forgot my ladies. You know what I'm saying? Go check out Grown Women Gaming. That's really actually right after the Living Split Screen podcast with Pong and Still Rain. So yeah, go check out the GWG, the ladies, and then of course, like I said, 108 Dragon. So there's Saturday lineup, and I believe Luca does their thing right in between somewhere.
Skunkcast.
With Skunkcast.
Actually, they're on right now.
All right, well, we about to get the hell out of here, man. Thank you, Friendly Blue Shell. Thank you. He says for the Darth Vader soundboard, bro. People love the soundboard, and then people hate the soundboard. So I got to learn a balance to use it. But anyway, let's get the hell out of here.
I'm still trying to save enough money for that soundboard myself.
Oh yeah, it's great, man.
You got to teach me how to use that thing once I get one.
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, if you need some help with it, I'll definitely show you what to do. Or I'll tell you the app too, because there's an app and then there's also some other stuff that you can do too. So, in the app, I believe is kind of cheap. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Go check out Lucas shit. Go check them out. We're out of here. Thank you for checking out, and thank you for the new member, Ice Queen. Appreciate it. We out.